Oh, you have no idea how long I've waited to do this. Ah, yes, the long-awaited final rant that you all knew was coming. I've been waiting for this last DLC to release just so I can fire at Dimps on all cylinders, and god damn it do I need this! I'm not even gonna waste any time explaining any further, I'm just gonna lay right into it. Long story short, I fucking love Xenoverse 2. Let me just repeat that. I fucking love this game. But I hate every second of playing it. Since you guys know I'm pretty quick to the trigger when it comes to these rants, let me just briefly talk about everything, and by that I mean the few things the game got right. I believe I stated on multiple occasions that easily the best thing about Xenoverse 2 was the character creation and role-playing. I'm sure you guys could tell that I've grown heavily attached to the characters that I've created. Even YouTubers like King Phantom have made an entire series about their created characters and have given them their own backstories. But it doesn't even stop there. With the sheer amount of unique skills, and with each race and gender having their own set of combos and attacks, you have an almost endless amount of possibilities when it comes to playstyles. In fact, I think I've put more time into designing my characters in Xenoverse 2 than I ever have in any other RPG. Then again, that might have more to do with my adoration of the Dragon Ball franchise than any in-game feature, which, to be honest, isn't all that new. One more thing that I feel that Xenoverse 2 got right is mission diversity. At least on the expert mission side of things. One of the biggest problems with parallel quests in Xenoverse is that most of them, aside from the collection ones and a couple small exceptions, were all just variations of beat this many enemies. While the same can be said for most of Xenoverse 2's parallel quests, the expert missions and some scenarios in the main story have some pretty solid designs. Clashing with a gargantuan energy ball, fighting off your mind-controlled allies, escaping wormholes, you don't see this type of stuff in parallel quests. And that whole Supreme Kaya time gain and terrible cook thing in the Battle of Gods arc was fucking gold. That said, actually playing this fucking game is one of the most infuriating experiences I've ever had, second only to when my internet goes out. Now the actual style of combat is fine. The execution, in both online and offline battles, however, is the most atrocious thing I have ever seen in any fucking fighting game. I'll start with offline since that's what I'm typically known for disliking the most. Let me just show you guys exactly how this game wants you to play. Doesn't seem very fun, does it? Unfortunately, this is the only way I can play without having to deal with random bullshit. Three mechanics immediately stand out to me as absolutely fucking broken and can make this game completely unplayable offline. First is that goddamn step vanish maneuver. I'll talk about that more when I get to online, but can someone please explain to me why for some reason step vanishing away from an attack from an AI combatant runs a 50-50 shot of even working? It feels like whenever I step vanish around them up close, they can back hit flawlessly or throw from any direction they damn well fucking please. And attempting to step vanish away from an aura burst dash just flat out doesn't work, period. Meanwhile, the AI is completely fucking untouchable when they use it. Now, as much as I'd like to get to that stupid fucking aura burst dash, it has more implications in online, so there isn't much I can say about it other than it shouldn't be able to stamina break anyone and fuck invincibility frames, but I need to talk about perfect blocking. The idea is fine, okay? Naturally, you should be rewarded for a carefully timed block. However, who was the fuckwad who thought it was a brilliant idea to make perfect blocking after getting perfect blocked a fucking thing? If you're like me and don't find much enjoyment from online PvP games and only play offline battles, you are bound for frustration. The only attack you can ever truly get away with after a perfect block is a throw. Anything else against someone like Teen Gohan or God help your sanity Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and you'll just get perfect block without hesitation. Even worse, the AI can and will bust straight into a combo after they perfect block you. Forget the fact that no one will ever do that because Xenoverse 2 is so fucking inconsistent and it's basically impossible to tell if your perfect block will go through properly. The AI does not give a fuck. They have the perfect block game down fucking pat and will never lose in that regard. Speaking of bullshit the AI can get away with, for some fucking reason, they not only can throw in any direction they damn well please regardless of whether or not you actually dodge it, but they can also completely walk through your combos to throw you. How exactly? Fuck you, that's how! Now I can get into certain characters in the roster and how overpowered they can be, but that would take hours to do, so let's just go ahead and get to online. Now, I've been asked countless times, sometimes from YouTubers who are or were larger than mine, why don't you play online for your videos? I've already done a video on that specific subject, but after thinking about it further, why would I want to play such a broken online mode? Cheap skill sets aside, the very foundation of the gameplay is completely fucking broken when I try to play an online match. The most notable of its problems, I'm sure you guys know what it is this really bad delay when something happens and its intended result. What I mean by that is, let's say you land a punch on your opponent, okay? You'd expect your opponent to stagger the very second your punch lands, right? But in Xenoverse 2's online PvP, there's a delay between the moment your fist connects and your opponent staggers, meaning you'll often see that your attack connects, and the game even gives you the audio-visual feedback that you landed that punch, but if your opponent tries to block it, even though you've already seen the feedback, it runs a significant chance of coming back as a block, or even worse, a perfect block. That doesn't make any sense, right? But that's not even the end of it. This delay makes it especially troublesome to deal with step vanish spammers. You can have whatever opinion you want about combat balance in Xenoverse 2, but I feel like you have to admit that this is a massive problem. In fact, I once watched a video from ReRep1 ranting about how annoying defensive players are online. Constantly dodging, always waiting for their opponents to make their first move, and yeah, it is incredibly obnoxious. But here's the thing, doesn't Xenoverse 2 encourage defensive play? I mean, the game gives you a literal means of complete invincibility, so why the fuck not? What is there to entice you to play more aggressively? The satisfaction of beating a defensive player? Pfft, who fucking cares? Playing defensively is what gets you results. My point is, the game doesn't want you to play the way that you want to because you're not going to get anywhere like that. Xenoverse 2's ultimate underlying problem is that it wants you to play a specific way. Otherwise, you'll just be punished for it. Oh, you could try to play the way that you want to, but doing so would lead to a more frustrating experience. You ever wonder why so many people argue about what's cheap and what's not? This is why! Every playstyle imaginable is completely dominated by a pure defensive playstyle, and Xenoverse 2 is telling you that this is how you're supposed to play. And I haven't even gotten to the other problems of online. The Aura Burst Dash, for example, is the dumbest fucking mechanic ever implemented in this goddamn game. I know why it was, or at least why people think it was implemented. Xenoverse 2 had a severe drifting problem where people would just constantly float backward after dealing a little bit of damage and simply run the timer out. The Aura Burst Dash was meant to be a counter for those who would run away. But the step vanish being a broken mess online kind of shoots that whole thing out the window. But of course, Dimps thought it was a fantastic idea to make it so you can do a reverse Aura Dash to break your opponent's stamina. As if adding a manual stamina breaking attack wasn't good enough for them, they took all of the risks, all of them, of stopping an opponent from using an ultimate, and they threw it out the fucking window. Remember in Xenoverse 1 how if you wanted to stop an ultimate, you'd have to get in close and risk taking a ton of damage if you wanted to punish your opponent? Yeah, that's not really a thing in Xenoverse 2 anymore. The only time you can ever land an ultimate now is either through a heavy stamina break, through a specific combo, or if your opponent is just too stupid to get out of the way. And if you want to stop an ultimate, it's just as easy as the theoretical press of a button. There are some other minor problems that I have with online PvP, like key blast cancels and infinite combos, but frankly, I think I've said all I wanted to say. Ultimately, Xenoverse 2 is a huge improvement over the first game, both in combat diversity and just overall content for the $60 you paid for it up front. Oh my god, I completely forgot to talk about the pure DLC fuckwatery that Dimps has indulged in. How do these developers think that splitting the story into several separate DLCs was a good fucking thing? No, not even several. 2 DLCs. Fucking 2. Only 2 of these $10 packs actually have story content. The other 2 only included a couple characters and some terrible PQs. Not only that, but the only skills in each DLC that anyone ever gave a shit about, you know, ones like Divine Lasso or Black Kamehameha, yeah, those are locked behind that stupid fucking TP Metal Shop, which you can't access the day the DLC comes out unless you actively fuck with your console's settings. I don't care how good your free updates are, you have no right to be charging what you're charging for these pile of junk DLC. I actually had to come back to writing this script after playing some of the 4th DLC pack with Fuse Zamasu and say that DLC 4 is actually pretty fucking good for the $10 that you spend on it. While it still indulges in that lock the cool stuff behind the temporary shop bullshit, it's all supplemented with some equally cool skills and outfits from the 3 new PQs. I mean, there's a fucking Super Saiyan 4 outfit complete with a wig and tail. The story content, as cheesy and stupid as it was, actually surprised me by allowing you to fight alongside your Xenoverse 1 character fucking finally, throwing in some neat twists, and even having the half-corrupted Fuse Zamasu as a mini-boss complete with his own unique skills. So, yeah. This last DLC? It was alright. Everything else fucking sucks. Oh, god damn it! Finally got it done! I don't care how many dislikes I see, I finally made the fucking video. You know, as I was planning out this video, I was actually kind of contemplating doing build videos for Xenoverse 2 again. That's just how much fun I had making different builds in a game that I fucking hate playing. I even had a little sub-series of build videos and character breakdowns and whatnot for games like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, Warframe Again, and Mass Effect Andromeda. Hell, it's still on my table if my sanity can take it, but every time I get on Xenoverse 2, I end up second-guessing myself because it keeps reminding me of how far it can push my tolerance levels. Maybe I need a break.